It's another sick thing that you need to understand. I worked 24 years in the Border Patrol. I have Social Security. You're a working man. You're pouring into Social Security. You got truckers, 30 years, construction workers, nurses, stockbrokers, whatever. When I bring in my illegal alien grandma that's never worked a day in her life, you know that she gets the maximum Social Security benefit payout? What? So she'll get more money than me? For our grandmas and grandpas that are living paycheck to paycheck, illegal alien grandma from Sudan and Mexico, wherever, she gets more money than the person that's worked their whole life.
I mean, this is infuriating.
Illegal immigrants are getting Social Security benefits that hard-working Americans have paid into for decades. What if I told you that some of these people are even set up for lifelong disability while our Social Security system is running out of money? 365,000 illegal immigrants or more than that is receiving supplemental security income?
They wanted us to try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah. And long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life for medical treatment.
That doesn't sound like a refugee to me. Just being honest.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who's planning on staying here.
Yeah,
a refugee
right.
stays until the problem's over and then goes home.
Well, that's right. And so they instructed us to try to identify, to try to get the client, because once they arrive here, they're now called clients. They're called
clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because clients pay.
Sure.
See?
Sure. I'm starting to
so,
see where this is leading.
So they told us that we needed to talk to the client and ask them if they'd had any headaches, recurring headaches, or any lower back problems. Excuse me, anything that would qualify them for Social Security long-term disability.
Wait. So let me get this straight. Part of the screening is supposed to be, are you sick, maimed, injured, whatever?
Right.
No. Okay, good, you can come in.
Yeah.
You get on the airplane, are you sick, maimed, injured, whatever? Yes. Good, so we can give you disability.
Correct.
What?
Yes.
This is insanity.
Yes, it is insanity.
But in order to get Social Security disability benefits, don't you need a Social Security number?
Well, we were instructed in the meeting that one of the first things we were supposed to do was sign them up for Social Security. Yeah.
Wait. This is unbelievable. So they come over here and they get a Social Security number.
Right.
They become legal.
Correct.
Are you pulling my leg?
No, I'm not. And then after we processed them for a Social Security card, then we were to process them for a U.S. passport.
No, you're not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's about the time I kind of decided, okay, I was done. I've heard everything I want to know. I was so angry about this, that they would receive a U.S. passport. It just... You know, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that we were giving these people Social Security cards and U.S. passports and free medical, free housing, free food, free everything.
Yeah, but the thing that bothers me, because the food we can recoup from, and the money irritates me, but we can earn it back and we can stop the program or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But once you give somebody a Social Security number, mm-hmm. and you give them what's considered globally the golden ticket, which is a U.S. passport.
Right.
That is beyond comprehension that we're doing this.
That's right.
Do bureaucrats know this is happening?
Well, interestingly enough, no, they don't. A lot of governors are unaware of how many refugees have come into their state, where they're located, under what conditions they've arrived. And I believe this is intentional. Now, we do know that the governor of Texas and the governor of Tennessee have both stopped this, and they're refusing to take any more refugees. In fact, the federal government has filed a lawsuit against both of those states because they're refusing to take any more refugees.
How dare you keep your people safe?
Right.
But, okay, so let's just say all the states are saying we want to pull out of this refugee resettlement program mm-hmm. from the federal government. Then they're fine, right? There's no other way the refugees are getting in?
Well, no. The state can assert that they no longer want to receive refugees, and then the federal government says, all right. And so then they start implementing a program called the Wilson Fish program. And Wilson Fish simply bypasses the sovereignty of that state. In other words, the state no longer processes processes the refugees. That means, in plain English, you no longer get to know how many are coming in, when they're coming in, where they're going, how much money is being spent on them, whether they're diseased or not diseased. You've lost all control over the entire situation, and as a sovereign state, you've relinquished that. And so Wilson Fish comes in then, and all of the federal monies that are set aside for this program bypass the state and go to third-party entities. And that would be something like Catholic Charities or Jewish Vocational Services. So it would bypass the state entirely, and they would take over the entire process of processing the refugees.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And as a U.S. citizen and as a citizen of the sovereign state of Missouri, I am not in favor of that. I think we need to maintain our sovereignty just like we would in the United States. You know, honestly, we are first a citizen of the state of Missouri because
Right.
we are a sovereign state. And then we're a citizen of the United States of America. But our first sovereignty and citizenship is to our state. And a lot of people don't realize that. So in order for us to maintain the health and welfare and the security of our borders, we must know who's coming and going.
Yeah, you have to.
Right.
You have to. And FUNU doesn't work for me.
FUNU doesn't work for me either.
And giving them a social security number and a passport actually makes this problem worse, not better.
Correct.
Have we been placed at risk? I mean, you mentioned that this is an invasion. Mm-hmm. Are we at risk?
I believe we are at risk, Josh, because when they come in, we're urged to compatriate them with fellow refugees, those who have come in before them. We are urged to locate other communities of refugees from the same country of origin, the same language, the same culture as those who are arriving. And so when they come in, you know, and we have had Syrians come in, and we know Syrians are on the list of those 7 countries that have been banned. And so we've received Syrians here in Missouri.
Even after the ban?
Yes.
What?
Yes. And so these Syrians are coming in, and we know that they are coming from a country of origin that has malevolent intent toward us as a nation. And we now know they're not being vetted, and we now know that not only are they coming from a malevolent country, or a country that has malevolent intent, and we now know they're not vetted, we're giving them support, and we're giving them a passport.
What name do they put on the passport if their name on the thing is FUNU?
I don't know.
That is sickening, but it's also frightening. That is some bull sugar honey iced tea, what this lady just mentioned. And this isn't just happening in her state of Missouri. This is happening across the country. And when a state stood up and said, nah, we're not doing this, they just usurped the state. And no wonder the Catholic Charities are all up in arms about this, because this is their cash cow. They're making a ton of money off of this. They're making a mint off of this. So no wonder they're up in arms, you know, about President Trump and the Doge and Elon Musk and those guys cutting off the spigot. How much money has been laundered, you know, within their coffers? I'm sure the administrators, you know, of the Catholic Charities, they're all fairly wealthy at this point. I'm sure they've been lining their pockets. But this behavior, one, giving people that just got here who hadn't worked, who hadn't paid into the system, Social Security, when we're on the verge of the Social Security being defunct in about 10 years or so. And in some cases, I've heard that it could be shorter than that. We're being generous in saying 10 years. They're basically telling people my age and younger that, hey, this Social Security thing is probably not going to be around for you. I'm telling you, man, I am convinced that these Democrats, they want to destroy our country. And as JD mentioned last week to those over in Europe, about their enemy being within, we got the same thing happening right here in our nation. We have the same thing happening right here in our nation. The enemy is within. No one from the outside has to attack us. We've let a lot of these people in here, and we have people in Congress that do not love this nation. We need to find the people that are responsible for this, and we need to do everything that we can to make sure that these people are out of office. They do not have the ability to do this right here ever again. This is disgusting, man. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on, man. Click that all button so you never miss an upload. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel, man. If you'd like to go the extra mile, consider buying your man a coffee. Link is in the description box below, or join the ARP family. I appreciate everybody that is a part of the ARP family, man. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up, man. Stay safe out there. I'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,